All right. So, yeah, I'm Pedro. I'm a postdoc at the University of Oxford, but now I'm here just as a co-founder of Chordify, this company created together with 4 other people. This was something that started, began when I was in Utrecht University as a PhD student. I worked together with Bas de Haas, another PhD student there, on modeling music harmony using Haskell. In fact, 2 years ago at ICFP, I presented a paper on functional modeling of musical harmony. It's also what Vincent mentioned on his talk that he's using for improving the harmonization of melodies, harm trace. Turns out you can also use it to improve the recognition quality of chords from audio sources. And what we've done is to take this rather academic idea and instead of working with text files and things like that, we just make it accessible to the masses. So you can just upload your own files or a YouTube link, and from that we give you the chords that you can use to play along with the song with your guitar, for example. And we also want to give you a nice interface that is intuitive to use. So this is the main dialogue that you get into. It's just somewhere where you can upload a file or paste a YouTube or SoundCloud URL. Once you've done that, our backend is going to analyze. And the backend is all written in Haskell, by the way, and it's open sourced on Hackage. So it analyzes the chords, going to then print them on a grid like this, which this is the video, the original video, and then it's going to play along in a synchronized fashion. But I'm going to show that in the demo, so I'm not going to waste much time on that now. So we try as hard as possible to make it simple, even though what is behind it is rather complex. It should be easy to use and it shouldn't really require a manual, even though behind the scenes we're using Haskell and, well, GADTs, generic programming, type families, it's all there, but you don't need to know any of that. Also in the front end we have a lot of technologies, PHP, SOX, MongoDB, etc., but it should remain simple. That's what we want. Can skip this. I'm quite proud of how this project went. We went public with a website in the beginning of this year, January, and these are our visitors. We have nearly 1 million. Actually, if I look at the past 30 days, and this keeps growing, so the past 30 days we have over 1 million visitors. We have by now over 420,000 songs codified, and 40,000 people have accounts with us. In terms of impact, this is quite interesting. It's probably 1 million times more impact than my research, actually. It's interesting to see how you can do something to make research visible to the masses, and how the people actually can take these and really like it. We also get emails about every day saying how this is the next best thing they've ever seen, and how they're really thankful for it. So it's really a nice thing to do. As for how we intend to make money with it, we have advertising, but we want also the advertising not to be annoying or intrusive. So we use full page background advertisements, and we want them to look nice in general. So our design team takes care of that. We're also planning so the main idea is free. You can upload your songs and get the chords. But things like getting a PDF or MIDI export, or being able to time stretch or transpose chords, these are features that we want to charge money for, so then we can hopefully make some money with it. We also want to have a mobile app at some point, perhaps selling on the Google Play and iTunes stores. This is the team. So me and Bas are the back-end engineers, so we do the Haskell stuff and the core music algorithmic stuff. Timon is our front-end engineer, so he does the website and things that you see, PHP mostly. And Gijs and Dion are our marketing and design people. So they, for instance, made this presentation, which I would have never achieved. And that's all I wanted to say in the presentation itself. Now I'm going to switch to demo mode. And in the demo mode, I very much hope that you will interrupt me and start asking questions. I don't want to just wait for the end and have 5 minutes of questions. Just ask at any moment if you have any question. So this is the main page of the website, how it looks. You see the background advertisement, and they switch every 15 seconds or so. And if you click on them, you go to the, well, whatever the advert is referring to. So this is where you can upload your files or paste a YouTube or SoundCloud URL. We also have like a library of recently chordified songs and the featured songs. So these are the recently chordified. This keeps updating. And we also have a couple of featured ones that are the ones that we know they're pretty good, so we want to highlight them. Yes? We store every song that's ever been chordified as long as the source is YouTube or SoundCloud. If it's a personal file, like an MP3, then we store them unless you don't use them for a couple of days. Then we have to delete them because they take up quite some space after a while. So as an example, this is one of our featured songs from Anouk, a Dutch rock singer. So when I press play, is it too loud? Okay. So you see the important thing here is not just that the chords are displayed, but also that the interface pretty much tells you when you have to play what. You can stop. So should be able to stop. Yeah. Stop and go on. And I can say there's like a hard section that I want to work on. So I just highlight it and it will loop this section. If you're doing this on an MP3, it will actually be smooth enough that you don't have to, so that the beats keep going. That's pretty cool. Yes, there's a question? Right. This D flat minor is a bug. It's interesting because so we use in harmonic spelling. We do not attempt to show the accurate thing. We do not compute the key and then try to make the chords correct with respect to the key. So we do simplify them all. And I definitely think C sharp minor is easier than D flat. I have no idea how this D flat is there, but this is something we really have to fix. But in general, yes, we use in harmonic spelling and we simplify the chords. Now we have some extra okay, so you also see here an ad box. So this is the second advertisement, so to say, and this one is more filled with, at least for now, it's filled with kind of generic ads. But we're hoping to have combined ads in the near future that will make both the background and the ad box make sense together. Then we have some features of just general utility for players, like how you can play the chords that you see. So diagrams for guitar, ukulele, piano. Yes, Jeremy. No, so this is all automatically generated. And this is a particularly good example, right? It's a featured song, so it's one that this is a pretty good example. The beats are very clear in the song, and the harmony is also very clear in the song. So our algorithms works pretty good. You see mistakes still, though. I mean, I don't think this belongs here, but these are the kind of mistakes that any player can pretty much immediately recognize and ignore. Sometimes you also see misalignments, like you're going to see this E could be here. It's like immediately obvious that that's a mistake. Actually, just at the beginning of this week, we released our first premium feature. So you now can download a PDF or MIDI version of this file. You can also download just the chord diagrams, all of them, if you don't know how to play them. That's for free. So I'm signed in with my user account, so I already paid for this PDF. So it then looks like something like this. So about correcting chords, that's something that we really want to do, especially because then we can start building a database of good quality corrected songs, and then we can actually publish this and give them back to the, especially the MyRex, the Music Information Retrieval community. They have quite some competitions on how to do chord extraction, and they really could use good quality data. So if we had correction, we could hopefully start, I mean, we have 1 million users a month, so we could hopefully start getting some good data. And but we have lots of planned features and lots of things we want to do, but we are 5 guys all having a full-time job and just doing this in their free time. So time is our most limiting factor. If we start making some money, maybe some of us can start working part-time, or and then we can do more stuff. Yeah. Yes. An example? Sorry, show us the example. Okay, so we only deal at the moment with triadic chords, so majors and minors. Internally, we could actually do whatever, I think. Actually, internally, we do recognize sevenths and far larger class of chords, but then when displaying them, we simplify them. This is because it increases accuracy. If you start trying to do sevenths, you're going to fail more often than we fail now. Well, that could also be, but it's since the quality of recognition actually goes down, it's not something I feel very good about charging people for. It's just the task becomes much harder once you try to accurately recognize these sevenths and ninth chords. What was the second part of your question? Sorry. I obviously don't want to show an example where it fails, but we can do something else. So just pick a song. No, just pick a song, any song. I should show you this works. I don't know. Should I just Google for blue and green? In green? Is it this? In green. Miles Davis? This is going to be terrible. I mean, it should be 4x4 for starters. Oh, no advertisement, amazing. Let's see what happens. Well, this was pretty quick, so this means someone else has already tried this. So we don't recompute, of course, we cache all these YouTube links. So this already doesn't look very good, right? When I start seeing chords here and here, then I'm very suspicious. But let's try to hear it. We apparently got rid of the ad in the meantime, which is pretty good. Oh. It doesn't sound entirely wrong to me, actually. Some of them are. Well. So what sometimes often happens is if you have a song with a very strong bass line, it'll start picking up the bass line as chords when they're not. And okay, so here you can't really use this to play immediately with, but it can provide a basis, it can help you. And what we sometimes also have is people who work with choirs and want to take a song and then arrange it for a different group, like a group of instruments or a choir. And then they really want the download MIDI function. So then they download the MIDI, import it into Sibelius or Finale, and can start working based on those chords on a new version of the song. I have a MIDI also for this Anouk song. Didn't play this before. Hope it sounds okay. Yeah, it's correct. This download PDF and MIDI are the pro features we have now. We are now internally testing transpose. So often these chords are in some key that is not very handy for you to play, especially if you're a beginning player. Then we have buttons which allow you to transpose semitones up or down. Also time stretching, that you can play the song at half the speed or double the speed. And these things are just tricky because it has to work on all browsers, and it has to work from YouTube and SoundCloud and MP3 sources and etc. And also, we're not really streaming the videos or the audio ourselves. We just play it through YouTube because we, of course, don't want to have the bandwidth. So it's also limited by what the API of YouTube lets us do. Yes? Right. So when transposing, we can't change the audio. So when we change the chords that you show, if you start playing along with that, it's going to sound pretty bad. So because we can't change the audio, because in case of YouTube, it's just at YouTube and we can't do that, what we do have also is a playback function in which you get the chords played back to you. We just have a set of recorded chords and we play them back. So what you basically do is then mute the video, still just play along, and we can play back these pre-recorded chords, which are then transposed accordingly. So regarding confidence of chords, there are quite some optimizations at the background of the algorithm. For instance, we do snap to grid. So we often, if we find a chord here, we'll just snap it to the first or the third beat, because unless we're pretty confident about that chord, if we're somewhat confident, we typically just snap it. Yeah, so there's a couple of heuristics that we use. I can't go into detail into all of them, but we have a paper about most of what we have on Chordify. Yeah. The question is about 4 beats per measure limitation. It is just a limitation. We assume the song is in 4x4, and if it isn't, it's still going to look like it's in 4x4. If it's 3x3, that's just awkward, right? You're going to get a beat here, and then one here, and this then starts affecting the quality of the chords because of the snap to grid thing. And in more complex cases, I mean, you start having 5x4 or 3 rhythms, then you should ignore these bars, right, and just see it as a freeform thing. It's not critical for the algorithm, but certainly the 3x4 is something that shows up very commonly, and it's high on our priority to implement that, because it's also high in our feature requests. We also work very much by prioritizing the development, giving the user feedback. So we have a feedback button here, and we have things like our top requested feature is transpose chords, and they'll be happy to know that in a week or 2 this will be out. But yeah, other time signatures in 4.4 is the second most requested feature. Yes. How functional programming has helped. I mean, of course, I think in the end you could have done this all without functional programming, but certainly for the back end, for me, it makes a very big difference that I'm able to do it in Haskell, and I think this is not any fact or so, but we have far fewer bugs in the back end than in the front end. Whenever something's wrong, is most often PHP or JavaScript code going wrong than Haskell code. There's really very few bugs there. But of course, also the front-end code is different, has to deal with all these browsers, etc. No, so I think Haskell is a great language for modeling. And this is how it started. I started using data types for modeling harmony, and then actually GADTs for modeling harmony, because we're indexing over things like, is it major, is it minor, on what key is it. So this is all still in the current code, yeah, at the back end. If this works. So these are the multiple models here, the jazz one. Let's have a look at the jazz model. It's, These are some of our index. And here you have a phrase. It can be in tonic form or dominant form. Tonics, well, they have a couple of expansions, dominants, subdominants, lots of stuff going on, right? At the end, we're going to have the type families. This is diatonic fifths, so we can encode chains of diatonic fifths. We do this because we have representations of degrees at the type level, then we need functions at the type level to do the transpositions of diatonic fifths. Yeah, borrowings, tritone substitutions. It's all there, and there's this paper at ICFP 2 years ago that describes this in more detail. Yes. Performance issues. We only have performance issues if we start running the backend on multiple songs at the same time. We could do like 4, but at some point we were having peaks of visitors, and when we get to 10 or 15, this would grind the system to a complete halt. So we implemented a queuing system that if there's more than 4 people chordifying songs, so running the backend, then you get into a queue. And that's not too much of a problem. I mean, now we have, I can also show you that, to say that I'm not lying with our visitors. Real time, how many people do you think is going to be on Chordify? It's over 200 for sure. Well, nearly, but 207 people. If they're only viewing songs, that's hardly any load. It's the back end is what takes some time, but by now we have quite a large database, so we're not running the back end all that often. Oh, it's half a minute, depends a bit on the length of the song, perhaps. If I could try to find something less obvious, might not be in our database. A good thing to pick is something that is not music, like this one. And pre-processing was basically getting the data, now the Chordify is actually running the algorithm in the back. There's some conversions to be done to wave, etc. But in general, I think it's now pretty fast. Our progress bar is not very linear though, but there we go. So it was 15 seconds or so. Impressive chords for. So this will work for all sorts of things. If you put noise, it will still work. It just won't make any sense. I think I'm over my time, perhaps. So it's, yeah. Yes. The expert versus beginner to modify the output of the chords. No, that's again a requested feature and something that we'd like to do, but planned, but not high priority, let's say. Thank you.